Right now at 5 o'clock, the man accused in the death of an Indiana state trooper now charged with murder. Why investigators say his killing during a police chase was an intentional act.
Reports of violations, the fight between the state and a Putnam County landfill receiving toxic soil from a train derailment. iTeam8 digs into their different standards they both have over how to contain the materials.
Plus, the fate of a Pendleton counselor in the hands of the school board, why her job is on the chopping block during tonight's special meeting.
News 8 at 5 starts now.
We will get to those stories in a minute. First up, Storm Track 8. Rain is moving in across central Indiana, while other parts of the state will see a snowy scene as they're under a winter weather advisory.
A little bit of everything. Chief Meteorologist Ashley Brown here now to sort it all out tonight. Ashley.
All right, from South Bend to Fort Wayne, winter weather advisories. Late tonight, we're going to transition that rain that they're seeing now to snow. For most of us, rain just now moving in. When you guys came into work, you probably had a little sunshine.
It was nice.
Mm-hmm. No longer. Sunshine's gone. But now we track rain chances. Clouds thickened over the area. Now we have rain moving in on radar. It's a slow process for us as we see these showers move in. You'll notice 465 Loop, Fishers, Greenwood, even Martinsville. You're quiet for now, but most of the rain building in across the state line there to the west. We'll see all of this shower activity slide over the area during the evening commute. Areas north, you'll see rain transition to snow. Right now, just rain from South Bend to Michigan City there, not transitioning just yet. We need some colder air to work in. And as we look at the temperature trend, it's still quite mild. We actually made it to the low 50s again today. As expected, it is an above normal day. 52 for Indianapolis, 50 for Brownsburg, and about 49 as we look into Noblesville. These numbers by tonight will start to feel colder because we're going to factor in that wind chill, of course. As far as precipitation chances here, they will increase hour by hour. Winds remaining breezy as we see the flag flying. And of course, I mentioned that the sunshine that we had earlier has already gone away as we're now locked in with cloud cover. So tonight's forecast, rain throughout the night, heavier downpours at times. Numbers fall from the 40s to the low 40s. And by tomorrow morning, the 30s and feeling colder. Rain will transition to snow for areas north, and we'll see the chances for snow increase as we head into the weekend as well. That full forecast coming up.
All right, Ashley, thank you. New at 5, prosecutors have filed a murder charge against the man accused of killing an Indiana state trooper. We broke the news online at wishtv.com this morning. The newest member of our News 8 team, Brittany Noble, has been going through those court documents today. Brittany.
That's right, Drew. Terry Dwayne Sands faces formal charges that include murder for the death of Master Trooper James Bailey. These documents reveal new details on why investigators believe that crash was intentional. Bailey died trying to deploy sticks to stop a police chase last Friday. Prosecutors now say Sands intentionally steered his Jeep into a median and toward Bailey, causing the deadly crash. Sands had been speeding away from another traffic stop on I-69 near Fort Wayne. In the court documents, police say Sands admitted he, in his own words, smoked dope an hour before the chase began. They also say Sands claimed he was trying to hit Bailey's car to kill himself and not the trooper. State police also revealed that they have several videos of the crash showing Sands driving into the median. I also received a statement today from the DeKalb County prosecutor who is handling the case. He says today is a first step towards justice and that James Bailey served the community with honor and courage. Terry Sands remains in jail without bond. Brittany Noble, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and like us on Facebook.
Brittany, thank you. State police say a man who hit a trooper's car does not have a valid driver's license. This is the damage state police say 21-year-old Andre Murphy caused. The crash happened just before 6:30 this morning on I-465 near Allisonville Road. The trooper had pulled over to help a driver with a flat tire when Murphy rear-ended him, pushing the squad car into the disabled vehicle. The trooper and the other driver were taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Murphy was not hurt. No word on what caused Murphy to hit the trooper's car.
Officials confirm the man shot and killed outside the Greenwood Ale Emporium was Timothy Sanito. Police found the 52-year-old in the parking lot off County Line Road in Emerson. He was taken to Eskenazi, where he later died. Police say an argument led to that shooting. The suspect drove off in a black vehicle. No other information on the suspect has been released.
Indianapolis native and comedian Mike Epps says he carries a gun with him for protection in what he calls a crazy world. He addressed Sunday's incident where TSA caught him with a loaded gun in his backpack at the Indianapolis International Airport for the first time yesterday. In an Instagram post, he says he had a long night after a show here and forgot the gun was in his bag.
So I just want to make sure I make it clear I ain't out here doing nothing wrong, but I keep a gun on me because I got to protect myself. Sometimes I ain't with my security. So just want to let y'all know that I'm still on some positive vibes, and sorry that it happened. And, you know, all I can tell you is the world is crazy. Stay strapped.
Airport police seized the gun but did not arrest Epps. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office will decide if he will face any charges.
Well, we continue with IT8 now, and a high school counselor in Pendleton that could lose her job. Tonight, the South Madison Community School Board will meet behind closed doors to decide whether to fire the counselor for criticizing the district's gender support plan. IT8's Richard Essex is following this story from Pendleton.
High school counselor Kathy McCord was placed on indefinite leave for speaking out against the gender support plan here at South Madison Community Schools. The policy directs staff and teachers to not tell parents when a student adopts a different pronoun or name.
I think if a parent is told, it should be the student that tells them. We know that 1 in 4 youth are kicked out of their homes when they come out in Indiana. So if a young person feels like it's not safe to tell their parent, they should not be outed, because we are literally putting students at risk by outing them to their parents.
And the gender support plan adopted by the South Madison Community School Board takes a similar approach. The school board does not want teachers and staff telling parents when a child adopts a new gender or name. According to Polson, gender support plans are fairly common in Indiana.
Because schools, that is their mission, is to support kids and make them feel welcome and set up the best learning environment they can.
The South Madison Community School Board has not published their gender support plan on the district's website. The school's non-discrimination policy makes no mention of gender support plans, nor are there instructions for parents or students if they have questions about the policy. Emails and phone calls to the district office by IT8 have not been returned. McCord's name and email is listed on the Pendleton Heights High School staff directory page. Her picture is not available on the website. I have been told by one of Kathy McCord's family members that she will not offer any comment about her leave of absence or the gender support plan until after the school board meets tonight. There are plenty of Keep Kathy signs sprinkled throughout Pendleton. The owner of these signs told me McCord has been a wonderful counselor for his kids, and he believes the school should contact parents when a student chooses a new name or gender. He declined our request for an interview, but did tell me that he's replaced the yard signs once after someone stole the first set. He says police are investigating. Regular school board meetings are held on the first Thursday of every month. The special meeting tonight is at 7 o'clock, and the board is taking comments from the public. In Pendleton, Richard Essex, Wish TV, IT8.
Sticking with IT8 and details about the violations a landfill in Putnam County committed over the last 10 years. It's the site getting contaminated soil from the train derailment in Ohio. IT8's Cody Fisher has been on this story from the beginning. He was in Putnam County again today, uncovering the facility's past.
According to the Indiana Department of Environmental Management, the violations for this landfill are not because of anything that's leaked from the landfill into the water. IDIM documents show the violations against the Heritage Environmental Services landfill center around something called a macro encapsulation bag. What's a macro encapsulation bag?
Yeah, so this is just a way to contain materials, right? It's the macro encapsulation bag just refers to the fact that you can actually put a barrier between the material that might be potentially dangerous and the outside, and it's for larger materials.
IDIM documents show the agency and the company disagree on whether or not a macro encapsulation bag qualifies as a treatment standard for hazardous waste, and if materials inside a bag shipped to the landfill need extra treatment.
I think it's all has to do with how the state wants it defined and how the facility wants it defined.
Candace Thurman Thurman lives in Rochdale, just down the road from the landfill. She is one of the many people in the area who have voiced their concerns about the contaminated soil and the violations against the landfill over the past few years. I asked her if it brings her comfort knowing the violations are not for any spills of toxic material into the environment.
I think there's no comfort level if you're really going to face it and face the facts.
Thurman says one of the facts she's facing is that Heritage Environmental Services is a private company that has been qualified to dispose of toxic materials at the landfill for a long time.
We can only trust what they're going to say and hope that whoever's regulating them is doing their job the correct way in an honest way.
Thurman told ITMate she is not happy with how the whole situation is being handled by the company. She would like to see it try and mend fences with the people of the area by investing more in their community.
Put a new roof on the community building. Sponsor more in the area. I mean, you're here, you're doing this. It's kind of a dirty job, really. It's not going to fix things, but invest in the community then and do some good.
ITMate uncovered that Heritage Environmental Services has paid over $120,000 in county property taxes for the landfill since 2013. Reporting in Putnam County, Cody Fisher, Wish TV, ITMate.
I am determined to make this right. Norfolk Southern will clean the site safely, thoroughly, and with urgency. You have my personal commitment.
Norfolk Southern's CEO brings an apology with him to Capitol Hill. Alan Shaw testified before Congress, pledging millions of dollars to help East Palestine recover from the fiery train derailment that released toxic chemicals. He stopped short of fully endorsing a Senate bill to tighten safety regulations. He did back proposals to tighten standards for tank cars that the railroads do not own, expand hazardous materials training for first responders, and establish standards for detectors to spot problems. Shaw also pointed to his company's $20 million commitment to help the community recover.
Well, new at 1 o'clock, a sealed hearing in the Justice Department's attempt to force former President Donald Trump's attorney to testify over classified documents ends without a ruling. Trump's lawyers and special counsel Jack Smith argued for roughly 3 hours before a judge today. Smith wants Evan Corcoran to testify again before a grand jury on his interactions with Trump. Smith says Corcoran's discussions with Trump may have been an attempt to plan a crime. Corcoran had declined to answer some questions that would have divulged his advice to Trump in a January testimony. President Biden's former executive assistant Kathy Chung will testify before the House Oversight Committee next month about his handling of classified records while vice president. CNN reports that she was the one who packed Biden's belongings and documents at the end of his time as VP. Those boxes eventually ended up at the Penn Biden Center instead of the National Archives.
Next at 5 o'clock, expanding access. How Instacart Health is working to get healthy meals to Indianapolis families.
Angela Morian here in the cold and windy city of Chicago. We're here covering everything Big Ten tournament. Coming up, I'll tell you what is coming down the pipeline for IU and Purdue. Stay with us.
You're watching Wish TV, Indiana's only statewide TV news network.